Do you feel like your ukulele playing is in a rut? Or maybe you feel like you're playing the same old chords like a G, C, and D are starting to sound boring? Well, I'm going to show you a simple way to make your chords sound more interesting and add some flavor to your playing style. Hey there ukulele fans, thanks for joining me at ImGonnaUke. My name's Tony, and in this lesson I want to help you level up your chord playing beyond the basics, especially if you feel like you're either stuck in your playing or you feel like maybe you're not progressing, or maybe you've learned the basic chords and you feel like playing those same old chords is starting to sound a little bit boring. I want to teach you an easy way to introduce some chord variations without really having to learn new chords or bar chords or something like that. Well, get ready to add some flavor to your ukulele. So go grab your uke, tune it up, and I think we're going to uke. Now let's say you're playing a song with a common 3-chord progression, like a G, D, and a C, and then back to G. A lot of songs, especially if you're playing the rhythm and not finger picking the melody, you have to play the same chord for a few measures like this. Now you can probably quickly hear that playing that same old chord like this, maybe it starts to sound okay for the first verse or chorus, but by the time the second verse, the third verse, and you're playing the same chord progression for several measures, it can start to sound a little bit flat or a little bit boring. Try adding a variation of the G chord to match the rhythm of the song, maybe something like this. So this is pretty easy to play from the regular G major chord shape. I'm just lifting my second finger. So yes, technically this is another chord. It's called a G sus2, which means G sustained 2. But don't worry about the chord name right now. Just notice how easy it is to vary from the main chord, just slightly adjusting your finger position. Here, you try it. You play 2 measures of a G chord, and then lift up your second finger in between the 4th beat and the 1st beat of the next measure, like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So you can play this just for one strum, or you can play it for the whole measure, but it gives the audience some indication of the beat of the song and when their measures are changing. Now you should be able to pick this up by ear, that switching back and forth between these 2 G variations, you can kind of create a sway or a swing to the rhythm of a song. So it helps capture the audience's ear and it helps reinforce the rhythm of the song. So here's another G variation. You play a regular G major chord shape and then try adding your 4th finger on the 1st string on the 3rd fret. Technically this is a G sus4 chord, but don't worry about the names right now. I'm just trying to show you how easy it is to play variations. So you can play it just for one strum or play it for the whole measure. Just try it. Just try it out, see how it sounds. Now depending on the song you're playing is when you would add these variations. A good place or a common place to add a quick sus chord is at the end of a measure, like between the 4th beat and the 1st beat, or if there's a certain beat in the song that you're trying to emphasize. Let's try this with the D major chord. I'll play a few measures of that plain old boring D major chord. And after a while it does start to sound a little bit flat or a little bit boring. So let's try lifting our 3rd finger and see what happens. So you can kind of hear some interesting progression in the measure. Now this particular version is called a D sus2. And you can add it anytime you're playing a D. I'll show you another D variation like this. So for this variation, you just slide your 3rd finger down to the 2nd string on the 3rd fret and then lift up your 1st finger. So you're only holding down the 3rd string on the 2nd fret. So this is a type of D. It's known as the D sus4. So it's all part of the D chord family. Now since these sus chords, they are just small variations in the same chord family, you can play them any time during a D chord and it fits right in. The last chord variation I want to show you in this lesson is for C major. Now, adding chord variations isn't always just as simple as figuring out whatever the sus2 or sus4 version is. What I'm pointing out is just how easy it is to make small movements with your fingers to add these variations while keeping your main finger position. So for example, for the C major chord, let's try adding our first finger on the second string but on the first fret. Notice we're still keeping our same C shape position. I'm just adding a finger, so this is pretty easy to play. So yes, this does happen to be a sustained chord. This is a C sus4, but I'm really trying to point out just how easy it is. And just by adding one finger here or taking one finger off, you can vary the sound of a chord. There's another variation for the C chord that I wanted to show you. When you're playing a C major chord, try adding your second finger onto the second string, third fret. So this happens to be a C5 chord, but don't really worry about the names. I'm just showing you how easy it is. Just add one finger, take one finger off, add one here, take it off. You're still playing C chord family shapes and chords, but it's just a way you can add some interesting variation to your playing. Well, I hope you're learning something, and if you are, please give me a like and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to hit the bell, so that way you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. I'll leave all my links and details in the description below. You can follow me on Facebook and Instagram, and if you'd like to support the channel, there's a tip jar, PayPal link in the description box. And let me know what you think about this lesson, or if you have any other questions or you need help with something, just hit me up in the comments below. Well, until next time, have fun playing and God bless.